life, the following episodes contains themes of suicide, grief, loss, and a bunch of ugly stuff. So if any of these things are triggering to you, we please ask you to have caution while you walk into this video. If you are struggling with any suicidal thoughts, we ask that you call 988 and speak to a counselor. Thank you so much for being here. Bye. Hi, I'm Cait.
And I'm Baylee.
And these are our book boyfriends. Oh my gosh, today
Best day of my life.
we're finally talking about Baylee's favorite book. Brian, this is like your favorite, right?
I would say it's one of my favorite books.
Like top 5, for sure.
That's too much.
Really?
I'm not saying like, that's too much for me to think about. I have
Oh,
not
that's fair.
thought about it.
Oh, that's fair.
But it's definitely one of my favorite books.
It's up
top
there.
10 for sure.
Okay.
It's so good.
Ever since
In
she
my
finished
opinion.
it, she's been bombarding me
A year-ish, almost a year.
about reading it.
And I've guilted her into it at this time.
Yep, so now we're here, and we're talking about it with y'all. You're welcome. It is,
One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid.
yeah. So I was nervous to read this book because you had liked it so much, and I was scared that I wouldn't like it.
Yeah, literally the first thing you said to me was like, what if I don't like it? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
No, like, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I knew
all
you were
this
all
time
along.
that I didn't have this book.
Time.
All this time that I didn't have this book in my life was wasted time.
Absolutely.
Wasted time. Like, when I finished it, I wanted to read it again. Mm-hmm. It was so good.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to do a quick summary, and then we're freeballing this one because, honestly, like, parameters be damned. Like,
Yeah.
this one just needs, like,
No timeline,
conversation
yeah.
flow. Yeah.
So, this book, it opens up with our main character, Emma.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I can't think of it. It literally says, I'm finishing up dinner with my family and my fiancé when my husband calls. Bro, what a...
I know!
Got
I was like, okay, Taylor.
That's all you need to know. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there it is.
So then, we don't really know... Like,
Context.
It's crazy. Because then she just, boom, back to, like, her in high school, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm not going to go through her whole fucking life story, but
No.
basically, she gets a high school sweetheart. His name is Jesse. They go to college. They get married on their 1-year anniversary, or like a few days before. He gets this like gig. He's a photographer. Mm-hmm. And so he gets this gig to go see Alaska. They travel together all the time. She's like a travel writer. They go to Alaska. The gig is to go to Alaska and take pictures of glaciers and shit. But it's on their anniversary, like their first anniversary. And she's like, go, whatever.
I've gotten to see it. You haven't.
Yeah, she's like, I've seen glaciers. And he's like, I've never seen them. Like, I really want to see them. And she's like, okay, go. Like, whatever. So he goes, he lands on whatever island or whatever. But then the next day, they get up in the helicopter on their anniversary. He gets up in the helicopter to go take their photos or whatever. And the helicopter crashes.
Yep.
And everybody dies.
He's presumed dead.
Presumed dead.
Yeah. So we go through...
Which, I mean, I feel like we know he's not. Because she says, at the very beginning, my husband calls. So
I mean, I'm
and I
pretty
think
sure
it
it's on
says
the
it back.
blurb.
Yeah.
I mean, the description on the back.
Yeah, so he's not dead. He's presumed dead this whole time.
Yep.
And so she, goes about her life. She moves back home. Mm-hmm. She runs into her high school best friend.
Yep.
Falls in love with him.
Yeah.
And they're engaged.
Yep.
To be married. When her husband is found.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
and then this is like her being like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
Like, what
honestly,
the fuck?
Like, I can't imagine.
No.
One.
Which I think that's a lot of why I fucking just bawled the whole time in this book, because I just can't imagine being put in that situation.
I did a horrible thing in which I put myself in her perspective, and I was like, oh, I can't do that again. Like, I have to I had to step away emotionally from this book and listen to it in a different perspective, like in a different way, because I could no longer try to fit myself into these contexts. Like,
yeah, no,
it was too much.
Awful.
It was too much. And what is even more difficult about this is that they're both amazing people. Mm-hmm. Like, genuinely great people. And so you're like, oh my God, who is she going to choose?
I told you.
Like, who?
It's like a love triangle, sort of. It's not like, your typical love triangle, but it is like the best. I think Taylor Jenkins Reid did such a good job. And like, When I first read it, I had no fucking clue which way this bitch was gonna go.
I had a team. I had a team.
Same. Oh my god, wait.
Do we say now or later?
Let's do it now.
I was Team Sam. I was so Team Sam.
Me too.
I was so Team Sam. And oh my gosh, there were so many conversations that everyone had where it was just like, just love and understanding the entire time. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Literally, her family was amazing.
Her family was amazing, okay? Family was amazing.
Was Sam.
Sam was amazing. And from what we learned from her past with Jesse, he
Jesse's
also
the
was
husband.
amazing.
Sam is the fiance.
Oh, sorry.
My bad. We're screaming.
Yeah.
Jesse was the husband that was lost at sea and found, and Sam is the fiance.
Yeah. So,
anyway.
like, I don't even know where to start. Like, my brain is going in so many different directions. I'm so excited.
Here's a good one.
Okay.
They were 28. Jesse and Emma. My age. Once again.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, well, a lot of our romances actually are like late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, I guess. I don't want to be that age yet.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
At the very beginning of this book, it is just grief. And
Yeah.
I know we were literally just talking about Beach Read and like how powerful her words were, but bro, the words in this book, like so much of it, like all my notes are quotes. Like this book hit so hard in the emotions.
I was a mess.
Yeah.
Like the entire...
So we Marco Polo all the time. And several of her Marco Polos to me were her sobbing.
I'm actually gonna...
My face is wet.
I'm gonna do a compilation video and post it on Instagram, actually. Probably by the time this video is live, I will have already posted it because I just need y'all to know that I'm not fucking exaggerating when I say that I was a mess. I think the first time I cried was very, like, not even as as we think Jesse's dead. Like, I think even before then, I was, like, tearing up. But...
I think the first time I teared up is when they were in another country and she's talking about when he proposed and he's telling the story of when he bought the ring. That's the first time I teared up when I read it the first time.
Yeah.
Shocker of shocks. The second time, no tears left my eyes. I teared up, but I never like cried.
I know. And you told me that and I was like, that's insane because I literally
was not
bawling, snotting, like it was dripping off me.
I was like that the first time.
Like,
and when I watched the movie, I literally was curled up on this couch like a ball, fucking losing my shit.
Yeah, honestly, we should watch the movie together. If you're okay for that emotional trauma again.
Obviously, I am.
Let's do it.
I was a brick wall this time.
Okay, cool. Maybe
Don't know
you'll be
why.
better.
So, the grief in the very first part. So, he's gone. Her parents immediately come to stay with her. She sits on the roof and, like, waits for him to come. The sister's being like, no, he's dead. Like, I need you to come down. Like, he's dead.
Like a mental breakdown.
She goes fucking crazy. And, he's not coming back. You have to come in. And then, she tells her mom, like, I want to die. And the mom goes, I know, but you can't. You have to live. You have to find a way to live. Like, there's just so much sadness in the beginning of this book. And she words it so well. Because, I mean, obviously, like, you're, like you were saying, like, if Aaron were to die, you'd be like,
oh, yeah,
okay,
no,
bye.
like, I mean, obviously,
I know, but you would want to.
It's a little bit of a joke, and that's not a funny joke, but it is, like, I can't think about life without Aaron. I can't. Even if he's alive, I can't think about life without Aaron. Like, that's just the fucking truth. But that moment where she's on the roof, she fucking grabs his binoculars. She's standing on the roof. There's a little strip of ocean that she can see between buildings, and she's staring at this strip of ocean, and she's like, I know Jesse. He's gonna swim home. He's gonna swim home.
Bro,
and when you're reading it, you're like, yeah. Like, no. I was fully like, this makes sense. Listen. The way that she writes it in her thought process, you're like, yeah. Like, it just, it as a reader, I wasn't like, girl, you going fucking crazy. Until her sister goes up there and I'm like, oh, wait, no, like, actually, yeah, how long has she been on the roof? She's ignoring people yelling her name downstairs. Like, she can hear them. She's like, I can't rip my eyes off. But at first I was like, this is totally normal. This is totally normal reaction. That would be my reaction. I would go fucking berserko. Like, I would go crazy. Oh, God. Yeah, and then her sister really, like, she had to lay it down, like, And she even says later, I already said this episode has no flow. There's no chronological order. It's impossible. But what's her sister's name?
Starts with an M.
Starts with an M.
That's all I got for you.
That's all I have, too. So, sister says later, she's like, I regret telling you that he was dead.
Yeah.
So bad.
She said you knew.
She was like, I did this. You knew he was coming. Like, you knew he wasn't dead. Like, I'm the one who told you he was dead. And I regret that every day.
Their relationship, too, their relationship in this book is amazing, too.
It is.
Because, I mean, they start as teenagers. They fight, blah, blah, they don't get along. Until that moment.
Yep. And that changed it for him.
When the sister was like, he's dead. You need to come down. And, like, you know, then Emma moves back home in with her parents. And then she begins, like, an actual relationship with her sister. And so, like, seeing their relationship bloom through this, too, was amazing.
Yeah, and then anytime that they're vulnerable together, she even comments, she's like, we're closer now. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what happened in this moment, but we are closer now. Mm-hmm. And we see a little bit of her sister's life, too. So her sister has kind of just been seen as, like, the golden child, right? She's done everything that her parents wanted her to do. And all this stuff. Well, she ends up having, like, some troubles of her own. Her twin girls start becoming deaf. I forget what it is that they have.
Me too.
But they have to get, like, cochlear implants, and she's learning sign language for them. And, you know, like, eventually, because of the cochlear implants, they can hear just fine. You know, like, everything's great. But everyone just communicates verbally and through sign, like, with the girls. And so she has this, like, she's just an amazing mom who's put all of this thought and effort into being a good mom.
Well, she quits her job when she finds out they're going deaf.
For her deaf twin girls. And part of this relationship that does bloom between her and Emma is Emma kind of realizes that she's the only person that, I think it's Marie.
That sounds good.
We'll just call her Marie for the sake of the podcast, honestly. If it's not, attack us in the comments. I don't care. Like, anyways, she's like, I think I'm the only thing Marie has, like, outside of her family. Mm-hmm. She's like, she doesn't have anything. I think this is the only social connection she gets. And so she also just feels like not an obligation to her sister, but more of like we're both leaning on each other in this moment type thing.
We need each other.
Yeah. But, yeah, the beginning part, so it's kind of, like, broken up into 3 sections. It's, like, with Jesse, like, before my life fell apart. With Sam, as in picking up the pieces, and then
finding out
Jesse's alive, and, like, trying to fit 2 parts of my life together. Mm-hmm. And so she is this girl for Jesse that they both get out of this little town. That's what they wanted to do together. They push each other. You know, they inspire each other. And it's because of Jessie that she takes a college class where she ends up finding out she really likes journalism, travel journalism specifically. So she becomes a travel writer. And she does everything that she wanted to do. She gets out of this small town. She travels the world. She travels it with Jessie. Jessie's a travel photographer. So they have jobs independently. They work for different things. And they're going all over the world together. And this is who Emma is with Jessie, right? Perfectly good person with a perfectly good life. They have everything that they thought that they wanted when they were teenagers. Their life has become everything that they wanted. And then the incident happens. And her life goes to
shambles.
Shit. She leaves. They're living in LA currently at this time. Leaves LA, like you said, goes back home. And she ends up working at the bookstore. And she's like, I can't believe that I'm saying this, but I actually want to work in my family's bookstore.
Yeah.
Like, I
she
want
said all
to be
her
this.
life growing up, like, no, I don't want that for myself. I want to leave. And then...
Yeah. And she ends up running the place. It ends up being hers, like, in everything. Like, her parents are semi-retired. She's running the store. Mm-hmm. She's made changes. She's really proud of the work that she's done. And then this is her life with Sam. She re-meets Sam. I think she's, like, just trying to do something different. She's like, I want to learn piano. And
one day she just decides she's going to take up the piano. Don't know what the fuck. But she goes to this music store, bumps into him, and he helps her pick out one.
Yeah.
So she thinks he works there, and then it turns out he doesn't. But whatever. In this, like, thing, he's like, I didn't know you were back, blah, blah, blah. And they schedule to meet to have a date. It says over 2 years later, she runs into Sam. This is 2 years after Jessie has died now. And so she runs into Sam. So... And then, oh, never mind, this might be later, but, like, at one of the, he's so sweet. At one of I think it was either the first date or this encounter, you know, she's like, oh, I've been at the bookstore the whole time. Mm-hmm. And he said, if I had known you'd be there, I assure you, I would have rushed over.
No, it was at the music store.
Yeah, he said that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and he does, like, ask her for kind of, like, out on a date. And he even said something. He was like, man, after all this time, like, I still
so
haven't
bad
been at it. Because he asked her out in high school, too. And she had this thing for
she
Jesse.
hesitated, yeah.
And he ended up leaving this bitch. He left for college and didn't say bye to her. And later we found out it's because he was like, I, like, couldn't stand watching it with Jesse. Like, I just couldn't. And I was like, oh, my God. He's been in love with her.
Yeah.
Since. So he's getting his second chance, you know? He's falling in love with the girl that he wanted to fall in love with all those years ago. And Sam's fucking amazing. But before their first date, she writes this letter to Jesse.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, I will never forget you, but I have to let you go. And she says something like, I can't wear the weight of the pain anymore. She's like, I've got to set it down, and I will come and visit it every now and then, but I've got to let it go. And I was like, bro, like, this letter she writes to Jesse is just gorgeous. It's just beautiful. And she's like, I need your permission, like, to let
I
go.
think you would want this for me.
I think you'd want this for me. And then, yeah, she goes on this date with Sam. It's fucking great. It's fun.
They never want it to end. They stay out till like 3 a.m. or something crazy.
It just like goes on and on and on. And then, I mean, yeah, their love story is just as beautiful, if not more. And, you know, because Sam even straight up told her, I don't want to replace Jesse. Like, I don't want you to not love him. You know, we think he's fucking dead. You know, he's like, I don't want to replace him. I'm not trying to take the place, you know, all this stuff. And she is like, I think that's what I needed to hear. Like, in her internal monologue, she's like, I think that's what I needed to hear was that he knows he's never going to take Jesse's place.
Yeah.
So she really can love both of these men at the same time because she doesn't, like, it never ended with Jesse, you know? So anyways, one of the parts that made me start bawling was after they find out Jesse is alive. She has seen Jesse again. She goes back home to Sam. And Sam says, I'm so mad at myself for telling you that because obviously I didn't have to worry about it. He was like, I said all those things and I hate myself for saying this to you right now. But I didn't have competition. I didn't have to think about what your love with Jesse would do to me. And now I'm thinking about it and I'm mad at you, I'm mad at him, and I'm mad at myself. And it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, because he's like, obviously you can't love us both.
Yeah.
Like I said that, but now that he's here, like,
it's
you're obviously going to have to pick.
Yeah. And he calls it off with her.
Yeah, he breaks off the engagement or whatever.
He's like, I don't want your pity and I don't want your loyalty.
Yeah, he was like, don't be with me because you think you have to.
Yeah. He was like,
like you owe me something. Like, I don't want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with me kind of thing.
But honestly, like, good on him. Like, that was the best decision I think that he could have made for her, too.
He said, do me one favor. Don't stay with me if you want to be with him. Don't do that to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she leaves their house and
shit.
stays at her parents for a little bit. But, yeah. Poor little baby Sam.
Yeah, and can you imagine?
No. Obviously.
Like.
None of it.
None of it.
It's literally like worst case scenario.
Yeah. Her sister makes fun of her one time and she's like, boo-hoo, 2 incredible guys love you. But go ahead.
Yeah, her sister is the one who kind of was like, I don't think it's about choosing who you love more. It's more of choosing who you are now and who best fits that. Or like who do you want to be? Because like you said, with Jessie, she was travel the world, do this, do that. But with Sam, she's here in her hometown running the bookstore with her family, you know, not traveling at all, being steady and laying down roots. And like, you know, who do you want to be? Yeah. Who are you? Who do you want to be?
Which I think is so important in this context.
100%.
You know? Because at the end of the day, the only person you live your entire life with is yourself. So like it really, when she said that, it definitely flipped a switch for Emma. But she still had to experiment a little, which I don't know how I feel about her having sexual relations with both of them in such a short amount of time, kind of back and forth. But I mean, I guess you got to feel out like the physical compatibility is sometimes just as important as the emotional compatibility.
Yeah.
You know?
The only part I didn't like is her and Sam, he, like, freaks out one night they're at dinner. He's like, we're acting like everything's fine, and it's not. Mm-hmm. And I think...
He's like, I can't do this.
Yeah, he's like, no, we need to talk about it. And then she sleeps with him. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think they may have talked about a little bit, but, you know. And then I think after that is when he was like, you need to go.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So that one I was weirded out by. I mean,
it was like the pre-breakup sex. Like...
Yeah, that one was weird for me, but... I mean, is it weird? Like, she's been doing it for God knows how long. She lives with him.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then Jessie is like, come stay a weekend with me in my parents' cabin. And they have a weekend together after she, you know, leaves Sam. And they have their time together. And she sleeps with him a few times.
Yeah.
And they, you know, talk. Reading it the second time, I thought it was very obvious she was going to pick Sam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even before we even meet Sam, because I don't know if I wrote it down, but before he leaves even on his trip that he crashes or whatever, Jessie, she says something, or she thinks something about having kids. She thinks about, oh, maybe it's time we settle down and do that. I don't think you know, like, they never really talked about the serious stuff. They are young, fun, doing all the fun things. Like, I don't know if they ever had at that point sat down and was like, okay, we've been married for a year now. Like, because I think she said when he gets home, I'll bring it up. Mm-hmm. And, like, we'll talk about what we want to do. Because they live in this, like, rental shitty thing, travel all around. And so I think she was starting to get, you know, okay, it's time to settle down. And I don't know if he would have ever... like, how his response... I mean, I don't think it would have been great, because even when he came back, he was like, okay, let's go back to our life. Let me see your passport. Where all have you been?
Yeah.
Like, what you been doing? Where'd you go? Let me see.
He imagined her as something completely different than what she turned into.
Which, I get it. Like, you know...
that's not his fault.
Yeah.
No.
Like, obviously, he's picturing what he knows, and what he knows is the Emma he was with, and so he, in his little... state, was thinking of her and thinking about what she was doing, and it was doing all that. I never did think she'd do the one thing she said she never wanted to do.
Run the bookstore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now she's doing it. But even when he gets there, like, I don't know, because obviously this hasn't fucking happened to me, but I would think if in my heart of hearts, you know, if she thought she was going to be with Jesse, when he came off the plane that moment, she would have gone to him. She didn't kiss him. I don't think she hugged him. Like, you know, it was just awkward, which, I mean, obviously, but so random. But, like, this happened in Grey's Anatomy.
Right. I was thinking of that.
And which is obviously also not real.
Yeah.
But Meredith Grey is with some guy, I don't know her name, doesn't matter.
He's gorgeous, though.
His wife was a prisoner of war, assumed dead. Well, they find her. And so when he gets the call, he literally looks at Meredith and is like, I gotta go. Like, then he realized, he goes, oh my God, like, I am so sorry. And then she said, if it was Derek, I'd be gone.
Yeah.
I would be fucking gone, bro. Yep. If that was Derek, you'd be nothing to me and I'd be gone. Yep. Go to your fucking wife.
Honestly.
Bye.
There wasn't even no conversation needed. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm like, she didn't do that. But there was a moment, I can't remember exactly what the context was, but she was like, loving Jesse is what is right. Like, how have I been living my life not loving Jesse? Like, what do you mean? I thought she'd stay with Jesse for guilt. Because that's her husband. I was scared too. First of all, God bless that man. Yeah. I feel fucking shit for him, don't get me wrong. Like, I would have chose Sam. I feel shit for Jesse because, you know, like he said, like, I fucking fought every day for 3.5 years to get back to you, to come and find out you're fucking engaged to another man. He's missing a finger. He has scars all over his body. He's emaciated. His mouth has been rotted out. He had to get new fucking teeth. Like, he was in the hospital for weeks once they found him because he looked like ass. You know, like, and then
and the only thing he's thinking about is Emma. I have to get home to Emma.
And then he gets home and she sees him with a ring on her finger. That part blew my mind too. How she wore the ring to meet him.
I know.
And so like, to me, rereading it, I was like, I think in her heart of hearts, she knew she was going to be with Sam. Because even when she first talked to Jesse, she was like, I'm engaged. I'm planning to marry someone. She never said, like, I was going to marry someone. She's like,
actively
marrying somebody.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
And he was like, oh, you're engaged? All right. Then that means there's still a chance.
And then she said to him, you were the love of my life. Because, I mean, you know. But I get it, too. Like, to her, he was dead.
Yeah.
She had to, like,
yeah,
put it all away. And I'm just, you know, it'd be obviously really hard to just, oh, cool, we're back. You're back. Bet.
Yeah, I know. Like, life doesn't pick up.
Yeah, which is what he was trying to do, obviously.
Yeah.
He's like, let's go home. She's like, bitch, I'm home.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going back to LA. And he's like, what? And she's like, yeah, I don't eat cheese. I'm not going back to LA. I don't drink Diet Coke anymore. Like, you don't know me. She literally said, we are strangers. I don't know anything about you, and you don't know anything about me, dude.
This is so
And
rough.
he's like, what are you talking about? We're Emma and Jesse.
Stop.
And she's like, I don't know you, and you do not know me.
Yeah.
And it was awful.
It was awful. I'm thinking of so whenever she was upset, he would bring her ice cream and Diet Coke, right? Mm-hmm.
When they were married?
When they were married.
Yeah.
There's a moment, I think it's after the sister finds out that her twins are losing their hearing.
So she brought her sister.
And she fucking brings her sister ice cream and Diet Coke.
Which I don't think she fucking
And I was like, oh God. Like that was just, oh. Yeah.
I want to say some of the not cute at fucking all, but like the viscerally real quotes of grief that Taylor Jenkins redid while Jesse was dying.
Let me cry.
You're going to cry.
Okay.
It says, you imagine yourself bleeding grief, as if the water from your eyes is the pain itself. You imagine it leaving your body and being soaked up by the mattress. I thought that was so beautiful.
So when she was trying to get a new mattress?
And she got rid of it. Once she was like, okay, like I
gotta go.
got it out. It's this grief and sadness is in this mattress. So she walks out one day and is like, I need a new mattress. And the parents are like, okay.
No questions asked. They were just like, yeah.
So all of her grief was soaked in this mattress. She got rid of it and got a new mattress. And then slowly, day by day, minute by minute, at such a snail's pace that you can barely register that anything is happening at all, you find a life's purpose again. Like, these are the things that the second time made me fucking bawl.
Yeah.
Like,
And the whole rest of that chapter is written as, you do this, you do this.
And then you do this.
You do this. And it is the step-by-step process of actively having to walk out of your grief.
You are happier to have known him than you are sad to have lost him. Happy moments are the worst. That is when your ache is the strongest. Yeah. It was just so fucking sad. And so, like you said at Beach Read, I read the back of this, and Taylor Jenkins Reid had just lost her grandma when she wrote this.
Oh my God.
So I think this was like her fucking grief in words.
Okay, listen, for those of you that are listening, I am actively crying, so you're going to hear it. And those of you that are watching, I'm an ugly crier, and I'm aware of it. We don't need to talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was so rough. It was so rough, her talking about her grief, because it was just like what we were talked about in Beach Read. It's like the articulations of the emotions that you don't know how to express. And it's just like these authors really brought it to life.
So good.
So good. Yeah. No, actively having to walk out of your grief and do everything step by step. Like, can't imagine.
I thought it was, she didn't like books, she didn't like reading, and the way she fell in love with reading is, she was at home not doing anything for a long time, and she one day was like, picked up a book. Of course, this book she happened to pick up, someone dies. And so she fucking yeets it across the room. And she was like, buy me a book where no one dies.
Yeah.
And so her parents were like, literally like reading at a crazy pace and like giving her books where no one dies. And so she's reading those. And that's when she falls in love with books. She starts working at the bookstore, and even through this grief, she found books and reading, and day by day she found joy, a purpose. It was so good.
It was so good.
But damn. And then one of my favorite things with like the Sam, they're together. They're sitting in their living room, they're playing the piano. She got their cats under the piano, like snuggled up. They've probably just had a great dinner. And she just like kind of looks at him and she's like, what if I never walked into the music store that day? And he's like, but you did. I don't know why, but the first time I read that, fucking lost my shit. I just started crying. I was like, that's so beautiful. Because, people are like, what if Jesse didn't crash? What if blah, blah, blah? Where would I be? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, you're here now.
Yeah.
This is what happened. This is where we are.
Yeah.
And, you can't do anything to change what has happened. Other than jokes on us. He's fucking alive.
My God.
Fighting a jellyfish. God damn.
Getting stung. Literally can't get
They said a
anything off.
stingray. He said, I think this was when he was swimming. So in high school, he was a swimmer. He didn't love it. His parents wanted him to go to the Olympics to swim. He was like, not for me. And that's when he met Emma. And she's like, let's just fucking bolt, not do what our parents want us to do. And that's like how they bonded. And so he swam in high school. So he's a good swimmer. So when he got on this island, it was what they called an islandette. Islet. There we go. It was like a sliver of land he somehow managed to get on. So when the helicopter crashed, there was a raft, there was some water and rations, and he was able to find this land. So every day, he said after a while, he was like, okay, I guess no one's fucking coming for me, which also, goddamn. Can you stop? Goddamn. I can't imagine that feeling.
Oh.
Actually, I know what I would do. Fucking kill myself, to be quite frank. I'm so sorry, but I am not strong.
No,
I'm
I
not
would
a
bash
swimmer.
my head up against
I
a
can't
fucking rock.
Fight for my life on an island by myself.
Sharp Point Temple. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not
Good
doing it.
For you?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to starve to death. I'm not going to dehydrate to death. I'm not going to get baked by the sun and, like, die of heat stroke. Like, I'm not going to... I'm not capable.
I'm not strong.
I'm not.
Done.
And people are like, you don't know what you do. I know myself, okay? I'm not doing it. I'm dying by my own hand.
And he's like, nah, I'm gonna swim. So every day he like swims. He starts training up, getting farther and farther every day. 3.5 years go by. And so one day he was like, I just was like, if I do not, I'm either gonna die trying to get out of here or I'm gonna die on this island. Like So he just swims. I don't even think it says for how long. I bet he doesn't know. Luckily, he runs into a boat that, picks him up and, here we are. He's back. But while he was swimming to try to find safety, he said a stingray lashed onto him and he couldn't get it off. And, they found him with that thing on him. And so he has this huge, scar on his side. The pinky thing, he said he, cut on a clam and it, got infected, so he had to cut off his pinky.
Stop.
Good for you, Jesse, because...
That would be relatively easy.
To cut off your pinky?
Yeah.
Mentally, though?
No, your body stops you from hurting itself like that, bro. You can actively bite your own tongue off, and your body's going to tell you, no, actually, bitch, you can't.
Yeah, but not necessarily that would be hard. I'm just saying of the body parts.
That's the easiest.
And also, people have cut body parts off. There's the whole story about the guy that was stuck in the canyon, cut his arm off.
Oh, yeah, The Rock. What's it called? 60-something days?
100 and
hours.
something. 100 and something hours.
It's not 100. I think it's 86. Because that's a long fucking time.
I don't know exactly what it was.
First of all.
It was
Anyway,
a long time.
cuts his arm off. Because,
Bash.
I listened to an interview with that guy. And
the arm guy?
he said...
no.
He said, by the time he was like, I'm going to cut my arm off, most of it had started to die.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so, he's like, it didn't hurt as much in the beginning, but then it started hurting a lot. So he would just pass out and then wake up and continue and then pass out and then wake up and continue. He said the worst part is when he got through most of everything except for the long nerve that connected his arm. He said that was the worst pain of his life when he just, cut through that. So. But I think a pinky would be easy because you could just, put it on something.
I'm not
and just...
saying that it didn't take a second. I'm just saying the willpower to be like, okay, if I don't cut my pinky off, I'm going to die. Just like that guy, with his arm. He's like, I'm either going to stay here and die or I got to cut my arm off. So here we are. And so obviously he cut it off. All of it, okay, whatever. The pinky is probably minimalist to everything else he had to do. But...
I'm pretty fond of my pinky.
Same, but you're going to be fine without a pinky. You
guess.
can swim without a pinky. You can find food without a pinky.
Yeah.
But, it is rough for him. I think it said in there, he doesn't look at his hand.
Yeah.
And, probably, he looks at his hand, he sees all the shit he went through. Trying to find clams when he was cutting one open so he'd have something to fucking eat. Fucking slices his finger. It said almost off. And then it wouldn't heal and probably, got super infected. Damn. Had to collect rainwater, I thought this was an interesting way to tell a story too because I thought it was a reverse Castaway. Because I don't remember Castaway very well, but I'm pretty sure when he gets found, though, his wife is like with someone else.
It's been so long since
I know.
I remember that he was just like didn't fit well back into society. I remember that part.
But, you know, like when like I said, I think at the end of it though, his wife is with someone else. So I'm sure when you're watching Castaway from his version, you're like, wow, what a bitch. But now we're doing it from the opposite side. And like all this stuff they have to go through thinking they're dead. Bro. And you know, he says, I know you had to move on. I don't blame you. That's what he says at first. I think before they ever get in the cabin. But then once they get into the cabin and have their heart to heart and she's kind of being like, this ain't gonna work. Like, I can't be with you. That's when he like lets out. Like he's kind of pissed. Like, you're with another fucking man. You forgot about me. You replaced me. He kind of went off.
Yeah, he said, like, I kept expecting you or my family to show up to find me, and none of you found me. Like, that's...
Bro. Yeah.
Like, waking
That
up every
part was
day
rough.
and wondering, like, okay, are they coming? Like, are they really giving up on me? Have they given up on me? I have to start saving myself now. Like...
Yeah. And he didn't say how long that was, but...
That's crazy. Yeah, and then it's after he storms away into the car, and he finds her
letter,
her box of like keepsakes from him, and the letter that she wrote him before her first date with Sam is amongst those things. And he reads it, and she's watching from the window. Mm-hmm. She's watching from the window. He looks out like, and he's like contemplating, and then he reads it again, and he eventually comes back inside, and she like hurries to the couch.
She can't see me.
And then like. I can't remember the first thing that he said, but you kind of anticipate his acceptance of like what this is. And this I don't know why this made me cry, but this made me cry. Like I had to pause the audiobook and I was just like,
I need a moment.
I need a moment. I recorded myself crying.
Good.
And I was like, he just came back inside the house and he sat down and he said, I hate your hair.
Oh my God, yeah, that's right.
And it was like, I don't know why, but that sentence was like the first sign of acceptance from him. Like he's accepting, like, okay, you're a new person. This is not my Emma. This is a different Emma. I hate your hair. And she's like, I love my hair. Yeah. And it's just like that final realization of like, okay, these are two very different people.
Yeah.
From the last time they saw each other. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. I just love how like he just walked in and he goes, I hate your hair. But then he was like, you know, he read it. He goes, I don't get it, but I understand. Like, after I read your letter, like, I understand you had to do that. He's like, I don't get it. I don't feel that way. But I understand you did what you had to do.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. I mean, you have to find joy where it is.
I thought it was, you know, Jesse, when he comes back, he's being very Jesse. And she's just super not that anymore. Like, he made her late for work.
Yeah.
He was driving without a license. He was speeding and, you know, he wanted to have sex on the kitchen counter. And the whole time she was thinking like, wow, I can't believe we did that when we were young. Like,
we eat here.
Like, why are you driving like that? That's illegal, blah, blah, blah. Like, they used to be fun, like risk taker and stuff. And she's like, that's just like not who I am anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think this would happen with any fucking traumatizing ass situation. Like, he stayed the same in those 3.5 years. I mean, not stayed the same. Like, he went through some shit. And he says stuff, too. He's like, I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think he talked to anybody like he fucking should. I'm sure the hospital did when he was healing. Like, I'm sure they made him. But he was like, you know, like, I am fucked up. And I'm not the same. But he was trying to act like it. And he was like, I need help. Kind of thing. But all those like little things he did when she was kind of like thinking in her mind, like, I need to go to work. Like, I love my job. I need to go to work. I need to open the store. But I'm sure when she was young, she would not have given a fuck.
Yeah, and he anticipated that. Mm-hmm. And with them being freelancers, they didn't have times in which they had to go do whatever they wanted. You know, and she's like, I have to be at the store. She's like, I had to be at the store. All right, I'm leaving now. Like,
And he's like, no. And she's like, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a moment where I was scared that I would switch teams because Jesse had said something, and I can't remember what it was now, but I took a video of it. I'm just mad that I didn't review it. But there was a couple moments where I was like, oh no, am I about to switch back to Team Jesse? Like,
I think the first time I did it, I flipped back and forth.
I was pretty hard Team Sam from the get. And I think it was like the whole, like, I'm not in to replace him type thing. Like, I know you're going to have this grief and this love for the rest of your life, and that's okay. I am separate from and different than that. I think that's when I fully was Team Sam. But they were both, I mean, like, after his return, Jesse wasn't as open about his emotions. He was very, like, stuffing everything down. From the beginning, Sam was very, very open about how he was hurting, how he was trying to acknowledge her hurt, but unable to because he was so hurt. And then, like, I mean, him breaking up with her and, like, calling everything off was, I think, one of the strongest decisions a person can do.
Yeah.
Because...
And, I mean, kind of, she said it, too. She's like, I needed that.
Yeah.
So I could have the freedom to explore this with Jesse to make sure that this is not a thing.
And I'm glad that they were broken up with a lot of the things. I'm hoping that the things that happened wouldn't have happened had they not been broken up. But we don't know.
It's a weird situation.
It's a very weird situation.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But, yeah, no, I very much was Team Sam for a lot of it. Man, oh man, was I crying the whole damn time.
Because, I mean, like, yeah, you're Team Sam, but you can't help but feel like straight ass for Jesse.
Yeah, when Jesse comes before they leave for the house, like the house that he has, the cabin and whatever, they stop by sister's house.
Yeah, her family.
To say bye to the family, which he hasn't seen yet.
The nieces, yeah.
And the nieces come downstairs, and he's just, like, dumbfounded. He's just full-on dumbfounded. And she's like, okay, we're going to go. We're going to spend a couple of days, like, at the cabin. And she shares a look with her sister. And it's like those, like, you know, no words are fucking necessary. Like, one, bitch, you need to call me as soon as you fucking can because I need to know these deets. And then okay, yes, I promise I'm going to be calling you. You know, like that that look. And he comes out, and he was like, those are my nieces. And he fully takes ownership of, like, because he does fully see his life with Emma. So this is his family. He is seeing his nieces.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Dad hugs him and was like, it's so good to see you, son.
Yeah. And it's just like, I mean, I think the parents were Team Sam too, 100%, weren't they?
Because when she came to the house and said that, they were like, why aren't you with Sam?
Yeah.
But what do you mean, why aren't I with Sam? What the... Because I got some shit going on.
Like I need some...
I need to be by myself. I need to be in my sad mattress.
Yeah, my sad mattress. I need some time and space. Thank you.
I know this is in her head. I don't remember when it is, but she said, there is other love out there for me, but it's different. It isn't this. It isn't this exact love. It's better and it's worse. Every time you love, everyone you love, the love is different. You're different in it. And I think...
You're different in it. Wow.
Yeah, this is before she was even, like... I wrote that before I put she sleeps with Sam. So, like, this is, like, right after I think she sees Jesse for the first time. Yeah. Maybe they go to breakfast. But I don't even think that. No. I think it's just right after she sees him for the first time.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of parts in it where she's like, what am I doing? Like, obviously I love this man. What am I doing? Literally. Obviously I love this man. And, like, going back and forth.
It was literally, like I said, it was so good. Like, I had no fucking clue where we were going. Yeah. Until, obviously, in the cabin when she's like, bro.
Like, I'm not the same. Yeah.
This ain't it. Yeah. So they have one more night together. It was super strange to me, but whatever. And they... go home, aren't together. He drops her off at the bookstore, and I think she's talking to the family, and they're like, Marie, and she's like, Sam told me he wants to call me on his own terms, so I'm gonna wait. And Marie's like, nah, no, he meant that if you weren't gonna pick him, fucking go find him now. And so as she's leaving to get in her car to go find him, he's rolling up to the bookstore. And he's like, Emma, I'm so, like, and then he's mad at himself again. He's like, I didn't fight for you when we were kids. I'm going to fight for you now. I'm not just going to fucking let Jesse come in here and just take you again. He's like, this shit happened to me in high school. I'm not doing it again. And he's just going on and on and on. And she's like, bro, shut the fuck up. I was coming to find you and tell you I want to be with you or whatever. Cait's crying again for those who can't see her hiding her face. But yeah, that part was cute too. Because he's just like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm sure we don't get any of his head, which I can't even imagine. I don't or Jesse's.
Imagine
Thank
if there was
God.
3 POVs.
I couldn't.
Fucking hell.
I cried enough.
Fucking
I
hell.
cried enough. But yeah, so they, get back together, whatever. And I think they get married, whatever.
Yeah, they go on with the wedding.
And it's so many.
I think it's like...
I put Jessie calls 8 months after her wedding. So don't know how long it was from her finding Sam and being like, I want to be with you to the wedding. But 8 months after her wedding, Jessie calls her, which they haven't like talked like this. Like he sent postcards and like that's it. But he called and he said, I met someone and like I get it. I get it now. Yeah, that fucked me right up too. Because like thank God. Because I think when they were fighting, she said, one day you will find someone and you will understand what I'm trying to say to you right now. Like, you're so mad at me right now and you don't get it, but you will. And she was like, I need you to tell me when that happens. Like, and so he did, obviously.
Yeah.
It was great. Her name was Brittany, I think. Britt. And she's a server. And she's like, that sounds like you kind of thing. Like, yeah. And it was a great ending. Her and Sam are living their best little domestic class life.
Honestly, what I was really fucking worried about was that she wouldn't end up with either of them.
What?
That she would be like, no, I actually can't. I gotta start a new life with none of y'all.
Nah.
I was worried.
No, wait.
I was worried.
Because she even said she got so lucky finding Sam that she has 2 true loves in her life.
Yeah.
You think this bitch is going to say, peace, I'm going to find a third, schlitz?
I don't know. I'd join a convent.
Stop. She's like, I'm going to just be a nun because this is not working out for me.
Not working out for me. Singing in the mountains.
Hence why it's called One True Loves.
Yeah.
Plural. But she puts in there somewhere. I don't think I wrote it down, but I think she said, you can have multiple true loves. It's just like you love them with your whole soul. Like, it's not you get one and you're done. Like, true love is different than...
Yeah. I remember that part so vividly. I was walking down my stairs in my house, and I stopped mid-flight. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Mm-hmm. Like, because I don't believe in one love.
Yeah, I don't remember what the fuck we were talking about, but you were like, I think people can love...
I think you can love anyone. I genuinely think that. I think love is a choice.
Yeah.
I think people are more compatible with specific people, and you can enjoy life more with specific people. But I do fully believe that love is a choice, and there isn't... I mean, because honestly, how uncomforting is the idea that there's one person out there for you? Like, that's...
Yeah, I don't believe that.
And then, like, you break up with that person, and you're like... oh, like everything I thought was a lie, aka fucking beach read, like go listen to that for our opinions on that. Like, no. Or if your true love dies in this situation,
you're just at 29, you're just fucked.
No, like I don't believe in a one true love. Yeah, love is a choice.
So, like, did you like it?
Oh my God,
was this the best book you've ever read?
Not the best book I've ever read, but it definitely, I cried more with this book than I have with any other book, hands down, obviously. Like, if I had read the physical copy, it would be...
waterlogged?
Waterlogged. Like, full on.
Looked like you dropped it in a bathtub?
Literally.
It'd be the mattress.
It'd be the mattress. I would have to get rid of it. It would hold too much sorrow. No, I
was the other way. I listened to it the first time, and I was like, I must find a copy of it.
No, I am glad I listened to it. Because I think hearing a lot of it, I was able to absorb it in a different way than if I had read it myself.
Maybe that's why I didn't cry while physically reading it.
I mean, because if you can, like, sometimes audiobooks is like the person's talking to you.
Yeah.
They're telling you this story. Like, imagining someone telling me this is their story, like, yeah, I'm a fucking wreck. I'm done. I'm deceased, bro. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a 5-star.
Yes! Same.
It is. It's a 5-star.
I give it 5 stars both times I read it. Obviously.
Yeah, nothing I would change. I mean, no, because I even understand it. Like, the sex between both of them.
Yeah.
So close to each other. I didn't...
Yeah.
Made me feel a type of way. I can't really describe it.
But you're also not in that lady's very unfortunate situation.
Not in that lady's very
and
unfortunate
also
situation.
hope that this never fucking happens to someone, because that sounds terrible.
Honestly. Like, any part of it.
Yeah.
Awful.
Don't get in helicopters, right, Joe?
I don't like being in the air. So.
Well, we knew that, but
I don't like being in the air.
Not at all.
I know helicopters are like way more statistically. Because planes they say are relatively safe. I don't think helicopters has the same vibe.
Travel.
What
Correct.
is
Statistically.
Planes is the safest travel.
really?
Statistically.
I would think trains.
No, trains
Derail.
derail pretty often.
Really?
But,
Great.
plane accidents are very, very rare.
And
The problem is when they
they
do
more
happen,
frequent, too?
everybody dies.
well, don't they normally happen like at takeoff and landing? And that is not fucking true. If they are fucking like halfway through the flight, yeah,
obviously
you're fuckarooning.
there is stipulations to that. But yeah, I think I don't know specifically the statistics, but it's mostly takeoff and landing.
On planes.
Like the first 10 minutes of takeoff and landing is like the most dangerous.
Of flight.
Well, that's comforting.
That's what I tell myself when the plane's moving around in the sky. I'm like, it won't crash. It won't crash. It won't crash.
We're past the first 10 and we're not at the last 10. It's
I have
fine.
a very, very long flight ahead of me over the ocean.
Probably shouldn't have suggested this book then.
I want to be medicated.
How long's the flight?
I haven't looked.
Don't.
I'm
Blissful
not going
ignorant.
to. I want to be blissfully ignorant. I think that's honestly
I
the
could be
best
Is
way to
it
go.
straight there? Is it like to Houston and then there?
I haven't bought my flight yet,
Oh.
but I plan on flying out of DFW, and then someone was able to find a flight with a layover, only one layover, and then back over, straight to Sevilla actually, which is where I'm going, but I don't have my scholarship check yet, so I haven't bought my flights. Actually, some of the students are buying their flights tonight, so good for them.
I want to get as close as possible to the next destination. That's what we learned in Hawaii. I was like, I'd rather go to LAX and then fly to Hawaii because it was like 4.5 hours compared to our 7 hours and 50 minutes.
Yeah, I think I will probably choose the flight that goes straight to Sevilla because I know some people are going to Madrid and then taking a train. Mm-hmm. And I don't like the idea of grabbing my luggage from the airport, cabbing to the train with my luggage, training to Sevilla, and then again having to like cab somewhere else. I'd rather just, because luggage scares me. I also am a passenger princess when it comes to flights. I'm always with Aaron. Mm-hmm. Or one of these times I wasn't with Aaron. I was traveling with my sister and my brother, and I was the responsible adult. And I was like, who decided this was smart? Like, who decided an 18-year-old in charge of a 14-year-old and an 8-year-old was smart? Not 8. He wasn't 8 yet. He was 4 or 5. And we were in... No. No. We made it there just fine, but it was terrifying.
We made it.
I was an anxious ball of shit.
Yeah. I get it. I don't like flying. Flying's worse.
Don't like flying.
Oh my god.
Any last comments on this book?
Would you like to... No, none of the book. Would you like to say your summer plans?
Oh, my summer plans?
Since you kind of just fucking talked about it a little bit.
Yeah,
didn't
okay.
explain
So
it.
actually, we should have said this at the beginning of the episode. I'm so sorry.
And at the last one.
And at the last one. But this is actually the last episode of this season. I'm going to call it a season. We'll start season 2 probably back up in August or September. I'm actually leaving for a part of the summer, and I'm stressed out as is, so let's not add anything else. But I'm leaving for 4 weeks. I'm going to be spending 4 weeks in Spain at a study abroad trip. You guys will probably see content if you follow my main page on Instagram because I probably will be obnoxious as fuck while I'm there. So yeah, I'll be there for 4 weeks and then I'll come home and start my last semester before I graduate in December. And that's my life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm just more stressed than excited at this current juncture.
Yeah.
But once I
you
get everything...
there.
Yeah, once I get everything purchased and itinerary and all that stuff, it'll just be pure excitement. But right now, I'm a big ball of stress.
Yeah. So we obviously can't record while she's in Spain.
Yeah, and I really need to focus on getting there.
Yeah. So we didn't want to do a shit ton before, so.
Yep.
We're just going to call it for a little bit.
We're just going to call it for a little bit, and we will be back. And we're excited to come back. Mm-hmm. Already planning.
With less stress.
Yeah, with way less stress. Already planning on better everythings. We're going to come back with a new everything, really. Very excited. We're revamping. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for listening, watching, and following us on Instagram at Our Book Boyfriends Podcast. We love having you here. Bye-bye.
Bye.